Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the weekly Astrological Horoscope for Saturday, December 2nd. You might be wondering, Niwa, why are you talking this way? I don't understand. You're usually more uppity, you're enlightened, you're fucking retarded. Why do you sound so serious? Why do you sound so creepy? Niwa, what are you hiding? Niwa, what are you gonna tell us? Niwa, don't keep me in suspense anymore, man. You gotta Okay. This video is, as you can already tell, going to be titled, Questioning Your Unwavering Belief. It's not very often there are transits that have you question things. However, this is one of them, and let's get right into it, because holy shit is all I can say as we move forward. And excuse me for the amount of words that are being thrown out there, and I just realized I don't activate my rain. There we go, a little bit of rain sound in the background. Okay, so December 2nd, yeah? December 2nd, everything's looking good. Things have been transiting. Hey, look, the moon's out of Taurus. Wait, whoa. The moon's in Gemini now. The moon's in Gemini. Okay, Niwa, the moon's in Gemini. Who cares? What? Why is it such a, massively huge transit? What's wrong? There's a lot to be wrong here. There is a lot to be wrong here. There's a lot of things that are lining up in very specific ways right now that I particularly don't like. And I just want to go over them. Because, ladies and gentlemen, because for you to arrive at the next full moon and begin harvesting everything you've planted, I need you to question everything. Everything you've ever known, and be 100% sure inside of yourself that everything you've been doing is solid. That you've done pure, positive, unselfish desires. That you have not fallen to the temptation of dark forces. That you have truly been committed, honest, upfront, put all of your energy, all of your resources into making sure that what you're going to get is actually what you've been putting work into. Because if not, this is the point where I'm telling you, you should just drop it right now and don't even bother to come back Sunday. Let's go ahead and try to understand what the fuck is going on here. Alright, so the moon enters the first degree of Gemini. This is very powerful because this is now leading up to the full moon that we will be seeing in Sagittarius and Gemini. Well, the full moon's going to be in Gemini, the sun is in Sagittarius. But what's with the creepy ominous vibe that's going on here, right? Well, we've already spoken at length about the fall of Lilith, the fall of freedom, the fall of authority, the fall of autonomy, the fall of self-independence, the inner strength within oneself. And this isn't just a regular fall from one sign to another. This is a fall through the galactic center. This is literally like when people talk about Lucifer and the fallen angel from the kingdom of heaven, which by the way I still don't really agree with a whole lot. It's that type of fall. It's the fall where you fall from grace. It's when a president is sent to jail for committing crimes. It's the type of fall where you've achieved nearly everything you've wished for, and then in the next instant having it completely stripped from you. So this Lilith fall is extremely powerful and is completely being neglected by the spiritual community. I truly believe that this fall is worse than most people are actually noticing it to be. Now, again, Saturn and Mercury are in the galactic center trying to communicate to the lower selves to be able to assume the messages. As I've said before, anything from Aries to debatably Leo, but definitely Cancer. So Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer are humans. This is lower consciousness. Anything that is Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces is higher consciousness. Those in between are kind of like the communicators between the higher and the lower self, the guides, those that are supposed to kind of like help you go in the right direction and stuff. So there's a bunch of information that is directly being transmitted from Sagittarius, from the galactic center, to human consciousness. Now, you might be saying, okay, but Niwa, we've already had several aspects through Aries and Taurus. Why is Gemini important? Because Gemini represents two things: communication from the divines and the search for truth. So let's go into a little bit of explaining here, because I know I haven't put out my videos yet where I go through all of the signs and kind of like help y'all understand the stuff. I'm actually go ahead and writing it right now, but it's not completed yet. Okay. So Gemini, communication, assessing information, understanding, learning, and overall just connecting with others using the power of words. Gemini literally use magic by using words. Gemini squares Virgo. Virgo is the facts. They're going to critique the shit out of you until you have gotten everything absolutely straight. And if they don't feel that your shit is on point, they will continue to harass you until you've realized that you've been wrong this entire time. They will make sure that your shit is straight so that when you manifest this stuff into the real world, in reality, Virgo is literally the material world, the real world. That you manifest what it is you're supposed to be manifesting. And lastly, we have Pisces on the opposite side, which is literally spirit. It is the energies of creation, the energies of the spiritual realm. It is the singularity in which everything originates from. Now, the opposite of Gemini, if Gemini is the lower self, the magic of words, the opposite of that is the higher self, Sagittarius. It is not the power of words, but the power of sight. When one talks about having the third eye, this is ruled by Sagittarius. They are the lens in which Virgo sees Pisces. However, Gemini is the vibration of words in which Pisces is able to deliver the message, in which Virgo then translates and makes heads or tails out of it. It is an extremely bizarre and yet interesting way in which we, the lower selves, speak to the higher selves as they deliver the messages, and we try to make heads or tails out of them by communicating them and by being able to see that which they want us to know and see. The reason why all of this is the way that it is because as the moon enters Gemini, we now need to discern the differences between reality and fiction. Jupiter has been trining Neptune this entire time. Neptune is going to be essentially powering up Neptune, and since Neptune is no longer being the big boss in the way, it's going to be putting up veils. There's going to be a lot of very crazy things that are going to be hidden out of sight, and if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. You don't want to be fed fake news right before your giant manifestation. You do not want to realize that you've been working for the devil this whole time when you thought you were on the side of good. This is why the moon is opposing Venus. You are to literally reflect emotionally and intuitive on all of your connections, whether they be material or spiritual. The moon in Gemini wants to know everything, wants to know the absolute truth, and Virgo will answer. However, we have no placements in Virgo. We don't have a lot of Virgo energy to go off with, while on the other hand, Pisces is being supercharged by a Neptune that is being powered up by a Jupiter in Scorpio. So now, after a transit like the one that Venus just had coming out of Scorpio and just being absolutely disillusionated, disappointed, and just absolutely fed up with the secrecy and the lies and the manipulation and the overbearing desires of others, Venus is just tired of everything that has came out. And now Venus is opposing the moon, and the moon's like, hey, yeah, I want to know the truth about your connections with others. And Venus is like, you want to know what I just fucking went through the last 30 degrees? No, I don't fucking want to deal with fucking people, whether they be on a spiritual level or on a physical level. Right now, I just want to believe that everything around me isn't completely fucked up, and that there is actually someone out there that I can talk to on a genuine level without having to worry about trying to creep up on me or try to seduce me or lie to me and get me to go a direction that I'm not supposed to be going. And the moon's like, whoa, yo, Venus, what happened? And Venus is like, get me a fucking bottle of wine right now because I'm about to lose my shit. And the sun's like, whoa, Venus, calm down. Like, I know it's been crazy in there, but like, it's okay now. You're okay. You're with us Sages now. And she's like, I have no idea what I just freaking went through. And the moon seeing this, and it's like, whoa, holy shit. And it's now getting messages from, which by the way, remind yourself that Mercury's ruler is Gemini, and the moon now being in Gemini is opposing its ruler. So its ruler's in Sagittarius, and it's about to go retrograde in less than 24 hours. So it's already in its worst position, and now when it retrogrades, things get even more confusing, because when Mercury retrogrades, essentially what ends up happening is you have miscommunications, you have a breakdown of communications, technology tends to act up in awkward ways, which, you know, oh no, Comcast is fucking up and buffering my internet again. No, that's Mercury retrograde fucking with everyone's technological devices. Saturn is constraining Mercury, so detriment, retrograde, restricted by Saturn. Mercury is going to be put through the ringer, and it's going to be a shitstorm. It's going to be a shitstorm because the moon is trying to find truth in relationships. Mercury is going to have a hard time giving any actual knowledge, while Saturn is just trying to educate the moon on what exactly is going on. Meanwhile, Virgo can't give any facts because Neptune on the opposite side is gaining strength going directly while being trined and empowered by a Jupiter in Scorpio. All the meanwhile, Juno's trying to tell us to stay committed to healing our wounds right now, because if not, things are going to hit the fucking fan. So what is this transit about? There are, let me see here. because let's see, the full moon's going to take place on the 11th degree. There are 10 degrees from the beginning of Gemini till the full moon to you to figure out, to basically question everything you've ever known and ensure that what you know is the truth, only the truth, and nothing but the truth. Have you been actually connecting with higher guides? Have you been in communication with divines? Have you been putting in the work to be able to receive the rewards for your efforts? Because if not, all you've been seeing is a Neptunian veil of lies. Now, in this world, we're not alone. When we come down here, we come connected to our higher selves. And it is through them that hopefully we do our very best to co-create our both path and reality, so that we may do the things that we are tasked and set forth to do during this lifetime. With them, we can make wishes a reality. With them, we make sure that we are doing what it is that we need to be doing. With them, we co-create the type of life that we're supposed to have. And I say this because we're entering a time period in which a lot of people are waking up to spirituality. A lot of people are beginning to listen to our messages, whether it be mine, Mize, or other astrologers, either on Twitch, YouTube, or hell, even on TV. There are a lot of people that are now beginning to realize that there is more truth to astrology than just your sun sign. And it is through this knowledge that, like, you know, little babs, they wish more, they wish to find out more, learn more, and educate themselves and how they can gain this information. However, without knowledge, one can easily fall to some of the easiest pitfalls. Imagine being a country girl coming to the big city. You don't have that much money, you don't know anybody there, you know, probably don't have any connections at all, and all of a sudden some dude's like, hey, you look like you're new around here, obviously because he can tell from your accent and your clothes. Maybe I can help you around. And so you build a rapport with this person, you engage in communication, you join them in their business venture, and all the while, instead of being part of an honest business, you are now being forced to sell counterfeit stones in order to meet a quota that wasn't even part of what it is that you wanted to do upon reaching the big city. You wanted an honest job that will help you have a successful, happy life, and all of a sudden you've just been forced to do some sort of, you know, smuggling or whatever have you. This is what can eventually, this is what sometimes can happen. Now, I do know that different spiritualists will have different ways of viewing spirituality. But Moon in Venus is asking us, are we really in touch with our higher selves? Are we really in touch with forces much above us that have us as the center of their benefit? That they are trying their best to help us unconditionally. That they and we are co-creating a more positive and beautiful life for not only just us and them, but all of those around us. It can be difficult. It could definitely be difficult. It could also be a little bit scary. I mean, Chiron is in Pisces right now. We have a very wounded, a very deep wound when it comes to our connection to spirituality, right? That Pisces is literally the singularity of spirit, and having Chiron, which is our wounds, pains, areas that need healing in Pisces, is a very damaging position. But even worse, with Neptune there, it almost hides it and makes it seem like we're connecting to something that can be positive, but in fact could very well be something negative. And what I don't want to see is, come the full moon, well, the full moon cycle, you guys are out there reaping your rewards, and then I don't want you to realize that, oh, well, I got rewards even if I didn't put any work in. Like, cool, right? I got something. And you end up having to pay a high price and karma for essentially stolen goods because you signed off something. In fact, with Mercury retrograding very soon, you may actually very well sign off your soul and not even fucking realize it. Like, that's how bad it can be. With Mercury being triple whammied, because like most of us, like, ask any astrologer or spiritualist, they will tell you Mercury retrograde on its own normally is a very bad time period. Nobody likes Mercury retrograde. No one. But with it being on top of Saturn and it being in its worst position, Mercury is going through hell times 3. It's the worst possible situation for Mercury. And so we need to be absolutely sure that what we're doing is absolutely correct. Because if not, this can be a very scary transit. And I'm not trying to fearmonger, but I'm just trying to give you guys a kind of a warning, I guess. I wouldn't call it much of a reality check, but as much as a, hey, you doing things right? I'm checking up on you all. Because I don't want to see anyone being punished for putting in work at the wrong place and then realize that perhaps there were twisted or corrupted desires with what it is you wanted to manifest. Perhaps your intentions weren't the purest. Perhaps there was a lingering darkness within you when you wanted to make those manifestations and transformations. Now, of course, if you wanted to transform from the dark to the light, then by all means, I want to see you make that transformation. But if there were other things involved, and it wasn't just becoming, a better person or whatever have you, or a stronger connection to spirituality, I want to really make sure that you guys are not punished for essentially listening to a voice that could have been carrying you in the wrong direction this whole time. But the sun is in Sagittarius, and that's always a very good sign. This is a very good sign because if the sun is our core self, if it is the base of who we are, the sun is in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is all about the higher realms. It's about the awareness of everything happening around us. It's about being able to see the mechanisms that drive life. It's about having the third eye to be able to distinguish the difference between a negative vibration and a positive vibration. So there's definitely a lot of support energy going through this. And if you think the message is a little crazier than what normally minds would be, Keep in mind that Ceres is still putting us through the trial by fire, and it is trining the sun right now. It's a small trine, but it is a trine, which means there's a lot of positive energies for you to be able to get through the trial by fire. It's already past the North Node, so you guys are coming to the end of this trial. It's not over. It's not one of those, hey, we're gonna have a trial one day and that's it and we're done, we're moving on. Like, it don't quite work that way. But these are very important trials, and even more so as they lead to the transformations of our self, as they are in aspect with Pluto. So this is why I want you to question everything. Even when you know the answer to something, I want you to ask, where does that come from? Where do babies come from? Oh, I don't know. There's this bird that flies around with a sack and the baby and just drops it around. Well, where the hell does the bird come from? Where does it get the baby? Why does it have a sack around its beak? That doesn't make any freaking sense. Oh, I don't know. It's always kind of been that way. And, well, you know, potatoes. No! You stop being a potato. Question everything until you feel comfortable that you have found the truth in your connections, both in, you know, tangible reality, but as well as with divines. This is one of the reasons why through this transit, you know, we were making an aspect with Vesta. Because there are hidden desires within us that we want to achieve and we want to gain. And, you know, Vesta right now, I think with the moon being in Gemini, Vesta's playing a very different role here. You know, if you've listened to a couple of my days, I would have said that, oh, you know, Vesta is having to sacrifice others so that she can fulfill her own desires, so that she can empower herself, so that she feels committed. But there's always a lot of ways to interpret a single thing, and this is why, you know, yesterday's message can appear so different to today's, because the way that things align themselves kind of paints a different picture. What if Vesta is asking us to sacrifice our desires so that we can stay committed to our own pure, honest, loving self and not fall victim to the intense desires that we have within us? Oh. See where I'm going with this? And we need to make a decision while we're at our weakest. Mars is not going to leave while the moon is in Gemini. It's going to take a couple more days. We don't want to be signing off our soul while we have really no initiative strength. No backbone, essentially. Like, Mars in Libra literally doesn't have a backbone. I'm sorry. It just really doesn't. Even if it's gone through all of this transformation with Pluto and Juno and Chiron, and, you know, right now it's opposing Uranus and Vesta, and it's, or not Vesta, excuse me, Athena. And right now it's saying, boy, you need to start a revolution. You need to start a change. You need to stop, you know, trying to find all this little harmony and making everyone happy and finding balance and everything. No, you need to fucking flip the goddamn table and do the things that it is that you need to be doing. And Athena is literally a fucking reckless cannonball right now that is just flaring at anyone who decides to even look at her the wrong way. There's a lot of scattered energies. And you just don't want to get caught with your pants down. You know, this whole entire transit, this whole entire, since the beginning of the new moon in Scorpio, through the higher realms and then landing back on the ground, there's been relentless assaults left and right to try and stop the manifestations that are to come. And why would they want to stop it? Why would they want to stop it? This full moon that is coming up in Sag is probably according to the Gregorian calendar, it's literally the last full moon of the year, but technically the year extends all the way until the end of Pisces. But either way, it's still going to be it's the last most powerful full moon of this year. Until, the beginning of the next Aries cycle, I still think it's going to be the most powerful full moon then. You have so much to gain for the next 2 weeks. To let someone slip in at the last moment and try to just pretty much rob everything from you. So question everything. Question everything you've ever believed in. Question that what you are doing has been honest, correct, full of love, and truly a detachment from corrupted desires to be able to obtain the true ascension. And that you are co-creating things with your higher self and with your guides. This is the last blockade till the full moon. This is the last thing that's in your way, quite literally. So don't get caught now. Don't get caught slipping now. Because we're very close to the edge. And you know what they say, the closer you are to completing something, the more dark forces will try to come and stop you one way or another. So yeah, a little bit of a spooky cast. I know. I sorry, definitely don't like doing the whole creepy stuff, because I definitely want to give you guys more positive messages than, creepy stuff. But I do feel that sometimes things need to be said, and this one was definitely one of them. So, as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay positive. If you like the show, give us a thumbs up. Really do appreciate it. Leave a comment if you have any questions or anything, how we can help. You can always try to reach us out either in the comment section or in our Discord. Always be willing to give some advice and stuff, and stay tuned for the full moon, because there is a lot to gain within the next 2 weeks. So stay safe, stay positive, and I'll catch you guys on the next cast. Peace.